I stand high on this hill when I say that if there's anyone out there that hates Nintendo fans more than anybody else in the world, it has to be Nintendo themselves. Nintendo just always has to wake up one morning and say, whose parade are we going to shit on? Not rain on, we are going to shit on it. It's gonna reek on top of that too. And today we need to talk about the fact that Nintendo just sent a letter to Gary's Mod, or the creator of Gary's Mod, telling them that they have to erase 20 years worth of Nintendo content. That includes the mods as well, mainly the mods. It's not like that's part of the game, but 20 years worth of Nintendo content is a lot. I'm just gonna read to you the article that I have here, and we're just gonna break things down, and we could just talk about it along the way. So, according to Tom's Hardware, the journalist article, it says here that PC gaming classic Gary's Mod is nearly 20 years worth of content, as Nintendo has issued a takedown notice for all Nintendo-based user content in the Steam Workshop for the game. Gary, the eponymous creator of the game, confirmed on Twitter X today that there is no mistake. Nintendo themselves issued a major takedown notice. So for those that don't know, Gary's Mod is basically like a sandbox game. It's a sandbox game where you can have a whole bunch of mods and you can play with all the different kinds of characters and make all kinds of rules. That's basically a textbook definition of sandbox. It's like being in a playground in a sandbox. You can do whatever you want. And Gary's Mod has to be probably one of, if not the most popular Steam game on PC. Probably of all time, in fact. So you have a lot of, players that go in, they mod the game, they do whatever they want, and a lot of those mods also includes Nintendo content, like mainly Mario, for instance. This has been going on for 20 years, and now Nintendo is sending a notice takedown to Gary, the creator of Gary's Mod, telling him, hey, listen, you're not supposed to have Nintendo, material or content on there. You're gonna have to take all that down. And when I say all that, I mean 20 years of that content, which I think is pretty crazy. You kind of think to yourself, why sue them now? And I also noticed that he had to confirm that that actually came from Nintendo. You probably was looking at that and thinking, why does he have to confirm that that's Nintendo? And I've been hearing that there has been some recently fraudulent notice takedowns as of recently. There's someone that's out there just sending out Nintendo takedown notices, or I should say takedown notices, because that's not really Nintendo, and it's pretty fraudulent. Of course, it's a fraudulent thing. You're not supposed to come to someone and say, hey, I'm a representative of this entity or of this business or this company, and I'm telling you to take down the content. You can't do that. It's illegal. I heard that you could get punished up to an X amount of dollars times the amount of instances you committed those things, which is pretty crazy. So I guess Gary had to go out of his way and say hey, I just want to confirm, is this really Nintendo? And it seems as if they've gotten back to him here. On this tweet, he did say, yes, we have gotten your emails and DMs. We have seen your threads. We're doing our investigations. We need to take things seriously, particularly from Nintendo. But we also can't let people misuse the DMCA takedowns. That's in reference to someone who's out there just sending out fake DMCA takedowns, or not just fake, they're just posing as Nintendo when they have no affiliation with Nintendo, and that in itself is a crime. And then he shared another tweet in response to that saying, I have been assured that the takedowns have been verified by Nintendo as legit, so this will now continue as planned. Sorry. So we continue with the article saying that Gary's Mod players spent the first hours after the announcement questioning whether Nintendo truly issued the takedown, pinning the potential blame on trolls. However, Gary took to the internet to confirm Nintendo's involvement. He tweeted, I have been assured that the takedowns have been verified by Nintendo as legit, so this will now continue as planned. Sorry. The Gary Mod Steam page notes that the process of complying with the takedown will take much time. I can only imagine. You're talking, you're scrubbing away 20 years worth of content. That's going to take a while. If you want to help us by deleting your Nintendo related uploads and never uploading them again, that would help us a lot. If you ask me, that is a lot of content to get rid of. I'm not sure if they're going to get rid of 100% of that. I mean, you might as well be safe than sorry, right? Because Nintendo is very anal about their IPs. They don't, if they tell you to take that stuff down, they mean it. And if they find any remnants of that stuff on your video game or on your content or whatever, they're going to hit you with a letter and they're going to say, hey, we will see you in court, or you need to take this down. This is your final warning. It's just so, it's so scummy of a company to just do things like that, because for those that are wondering, it's not like Gary's Mod is doing anything negative to Nintendo. It's just mods. That's really just it. It's just mods. You download it for free. You could play as Mario with a crowbar that's killing a whole bunch of, Among Us zombies if you want to. No one cares about that. People are just having fun. But Nintendo is just looking at that, and after 20 years, they decide, yeah, we don't like that. It's time to cut the cord on Gary's Mod. And I just think that's just so scummy. Like, Nintendo just doesn't like people having fun. And for those that are just out of the loop on this whole thing, Nintendo has been going on the offensive when it comes to takedowns of their content on other people's, content, maybe emulating, maybe just content creation, maybe a video game mod. Nintendo doesn't like any of that. They were looking into Power World to see if they could sue them. They recently, had a hacker that they prosecuted for, emulating their games and selling it, and now he's punished. He was found guilty, or I think he pleaded guilty. I think he's out of jail now, but now Nintendo's telling him that he has to spend like millions of dollars in reparation for the damages that he has caused as a hacker, hacking, I think, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, and selling it. That is a lot of money. Nintendo is basically saying, you are going to be paying us 20 to 30% of your income for the rest of your life. They literally created generational debt for this dude, and it's absolutely crazy. It's like as if Nintendo is trying to make an example out of people. Like, you are not safe. If we see anything Nintendo related on your content that we don't approve of, we're gonna ask for you to take it down. And it's just so scummy all around. Nintendo has a reputation for bringing litigations to companies that it believes harms its brand. The company received news coverage most recently for the lawsuit against the Yuzu Switch emulator, arguing in their suit that all emulation in any form is illegal. This move angered game preservation and emulation enthusiasts. Today, Gary's Mod Takedown is harder to argue with, as ripping or copying copyrighted assets is fair game for a DMCA request. So that's basically what's going on right now. So you have Gary, who's just told all of his, the entire player base, hey, if you see any Nintendo content, can you do me the favor and just deleting that, please? Because, of course, 20 years is a lot. It's like even me as a content creator, I can imagine if I had years of content, and one day a company comes up to me and says, hey, Vaughn, or hey, Progeny, we don't like that you have this game up on your channel or on your Twitch or something like that. You're going to have to get rid of all of that. 20 years worth of stuff. And if you don't get rid of all of that stuff, we're going to see you in court. I don't see how this is going to be a thing. And so I can understand why you would need the community of yours to say, hey, can y'all help me out? I might need a second pair of eyes or millions of eyes at that to clean Nintendo off of Gary's Mod. Like, that's why when I said when Nintendo wants to shit on anyone's parade, they're going to shit on someone's parade. They're not going to rain. Rain we could tolerate. Rain is like, okay, this sucks, but the band still is marching. The band is still marching. We're still playing our songs to the beat. And no, Nintendo's saying no, we are going to shit on them. And that is absolutely absurd of them to just go to Gary's Mod after 20 years and tell them, hey, you need to take all this down. It's just insane. And I stand by this when I say that if there's anybody that hates Nintendo fans the most, it is definitely Nintendo at the end of the day. I mean, what are you gonna do? Nintendo has a very solid legal team. I don't think there's anything that you can do. If Nintendo comes up to you and says, "Hey, you got to take that shit down," yeah, you better take it down, because I wouldn't want anyone to go into court with Nintendo unless they have a very good fight or a very good defense that they could speak on. I don't see anybody, clapping back at Nintendo or responding to Nintendo like, yeah. Oh, we'll see you in court. We'll see you in court. I don't think that's happening. But anyways, that's about it. I just felt I felt the need to talk about this because if I had to say one thing, Nintendo fans are passionate. They are a great community. Nintendo has done a lot of fucked up shit, and Nintendo fans just loves Nintendo. I think we can say that for all fans, but Nintendo fans are a special kind of fans, and they're so dedicated. They love anything that Nintendo provides, and it's just so scummy that Nintendo would just fuck them over like that. Like, you can't have fun. You gotta buy our games at a full price, even though it's like 10 years old. We don't want you making content of our games. It's just terrible all around. And that's really all I have for y'all. Peace.